Hello.
Charles, we're live. We're live, Charles.
Yes, sir. Aloha, everybody.
It's Aloha Friday, everybody. Aloha, you guys. Thank you all for
Yeah.
joining us on this wonderful day. Let me start a watch party there. Boom.
Oh my goodness.
Are you okay, bro?
I just got my allergies.
Tyson Moises is like the guy that comes on first every single night. Unreal, unreal, unreal. How you guys doing, everybody? How you guys doing? Thank you for joining us tonight. Yeah, this is the back to basics, back to the original the COVID-19 discussion with Charlie and Mel, and we're gonna have some fun tonight. We're gonna talk about all kinds of stuff, whatever you guys like talk about. John Shirai, Wally Nishimura. Hey Wally,
Yes.
congratulations on filing your papers today. Good luck in your campaign. Gene, Laurie, Tyson, again, ha ha ha. Sandy and Honey and BC and Sherry and Alyssa, awesome. Hey, thank you guys all for joining us each and every night.
Yep.
Gosh, it's been almost 2 months already, and don't forget to hit the share button now. Share button, send this thing out. Oh, my dad is on. Aloha, Dad. Thank you for joining us again, only because I was still typing. All right, look at this, everybody. Renee Kawakami, Linda, Cyrus.
Yeah.
So whatever you guys talk about, throw me in that message box because tonight is a free fall night. Whatever you guys like chat about. I mean, we got a couple of things we're gonna talk about. They're talking about Patsy's bread pudding better than my applesauce mochi. So yeah, we're gonna just have some fun and kind of recap what's going on. You know, the one thing about this pandemic is every day is something new. Every day, new developments. You know, today we get the announcements about more things opening up. The governor had a live Zoom session today with the four mayors, talking about opening up the economy, talking about possibly opening up inter island, lifting the inter island quarantine in the next week or so, as well as extending the mainland quarantine or the mainland and international quarantine beyond June. After EA's announcement, you two better do this show all summer long. I'm gonna have lots of unoccupied time. Tyson. You know, it's yeah, you know, I was watching and I was actually on the phone with Senate President Ron Kochi at the same time. So I was watching the comments and trying to listen to Ron and the governor and the mayors. So yeah, it changes every day, every day. And then you know we got the world events. You know, we got the incident out there in Minneapolis with the officers. You know, the one guy was basically murdered by a police officer. You got that
Yep.
developing, and that now they've broken into the police station and set the police station on fire. And we have our own issues. We got the TVR issues out of control, completely out of control, and no end in sight. You know, we I forget who sent somebody posted all of I forget who it was. Maybe it was Tyson. I can't remember, but it was all these properties on Poipu, VRBO, all homes, not all, but most of them were houses that were renting out $200, $300, $400, $500 a night with access to your private beach. We know there's no private beaches in Hawaii,
Mhm.
and obviously illegal. You see, the law prohibits advertising of TVRs. You don't even have to go undercover and rent one of these things. You get the house, you get the ad, you print, you get a copy, and then you go take them the ticket or you arrest them. So I informed the mayor's chief of staff, Sarah, and she said that the planning department is handling all of that. So I forwarded the links over to the inspector, Mike Loretta, and he said that they were aware of some of them, not all of them, but apparently they're sending out warning notices, notices to stop, which I kind of disagree with. You know, I think we've been going through this long enough that no need warnings anymore. You see, the advertising of a TVR is illegal. When you get stopped for speeding, you on ticket. Whether you saw the speed limit sign or not, ignorance of the law is no excuse. I see no difference with these TVRs. See, only because the TVRs are causing such a health threat to the people of Kauai, because we know that these people are not quarantining because no one knows where they're at. So anyway, really, really frustrating. And those, I mean, I get every day, I get pictures of ads or pictures of properties. And all I can do right now is sending it over to the planning department for enforcement. And I can only hope that they're going to strictly enforce. It's out of control on Oahu as well and on the other islands. So we gotta take this serious. We keep talking about opening up the economy and getting people back to work, but if we're not careful with how we handle these visitors, whether it's TVRs or rental cars or whatever the case may be, it can be dangerous for us. Somebody called me a fear monger today, posted, Mel, you're just fear mongering. Well, whatever, to each his own. I don't get upset anymore. I respect everybody's opinion, but like Charlie always says, man, we put the information out there. What I post is either stories straight from an official source. I stopped posting the daily reports because I don't believe those numbers. But everything else we talk about is from official sources. So you take it for what it's worth. If you think it's fear mongering, then I feel for you. I do. But we just try to inform and educate, Charles. That's all we try to do.
Yep. Well, like I said again, I reemphasize to everyone, whatever we do put out, I mean, it's there. Some people have a difficult time trying to find it, and we just try to be conscious about what we say, what we do, and we just put it out there, and you can decide what you want to do with it. But I would draw attention, for especially for those who help us a lot by giving us tips. Just be careful how you do it, and I'm glad you give it to us. I don't know, we talked about the quarantine kapu breakers. they're for the most part, they're doing an absolutely fantastic job. But I think most of you may have seen on the news lately, one member went a little bit too far in accusing two individuals in Waikiki as being tourists, right? And lo and behold, they're residents of the islands, and I believe they live in the Waikiki area. So you just gotta be careful. Okay, just gotta be careful. I know it's tough, but yesterday I got a call from the people enjoying their day last weekend, beautiful Hanalei Bay. And what happened was, a sailboat came in, and Zodiac went out to meet the sailboat. 4 to 5 individuals got off the sailboat. Looked like they were going to go back on. They went back to the sailboat. Apparently, they grabbed their luggage and went back to shore. Vehicle picked them up, and off they went. So the person who reported it to me, unfortunately, didn't get the license plate number. But nevertheless, that incident is, if someone needs to go that far in spending money to have a sailboat bring you in, and drop you off, and another vehicle picks you up, and kind of strange, right? Coming off a Zodiac with an overnight luggage, and you walking. And guess what, folks? The wheels that make them slide in the airport, it don't work on sand. Okay, I will let you know that right now. But anyway, they seen walking with that to the car. I mean, unless they was out on a boat making some kind of pornographic film, these look like people that just got dropped off. So we gotta keep an eye on that. And I think Mel, I did want to give you an update about my grandchildren. The rest of my grandchildren today took the test because they were in contact with someone that had COVID. That person, and this is the part that I'm getting having a hard time understanding. Yesterday, I announced about my great-grandson and my granddaughter being exposed to this person. So they got the results back yesterday. The roommate got the results back yesterday after 1 week. So let's work our way backwards. 7 days ago, they took the test. 7 days ago, the person was admitted because she had symptoms for the 3 days prior to. So 10 days had gone by. 10 days, Her symptoms were high fever, coughing, and difficulty breathing. So the results only came back yesterday, which put a panic with the family. Okay, I get that point. This person goes back into the ER and they found that she was dehydrated because she was throwing up a lot. She's COVID positive now. She goes to the ER. The ER says, just go home, go rest, but stay quarantined at home. So now you went from a quarantine situation to an isolation situation. So needless to say, there seems to be some different set of rules for each facility around the state on how they handle COVID. Okay, so this is why I'm telling the people now, you really got to know how to ask the right questions. And if you don't feel right, you keep on asking the questions and you want to speak to a doctor, because this thing is kind of throwing me off for a loop, because apparently what was said to them when they left the hospital is that, coming down already. She still had a high fever when she went in there last night. And this is after 10 days. So this is not telling me that this COVID positive person is coming down. Something is not right here. But needless to say, my grandchildren are safe, but they got to wait for their results. My granddaughter, the roommate, and my great-grandson, they came out negative already. But now I've got my daughter and my other grandchildren, they got to be tested. And they got tested today, and they just got to wait for their results. So as you can see, it's kind of nerve-wracking. A lot of you who haven't been exposed to it, you only hear the news. Somebody's infected. But you don't know the process. I mean, once you get involved in a process, the thing about it is, I was like one typical cop, and I should have been more compassionate to my granddaughter. I was questioning her because I wanted to find out about contact tracing. And she said, Papa, they did call me. They did ask me where I stay. They did ask me for my phone number. They did come by today to check on her, make sure, even though she's negative, but she can be asymptomatic because she's been exposed closest to this person. So she has to stay home, and they came and checked on her, as well as the other family members at a different location. So I asked her, are they contacting people that you remember the names of? What did they tell you? He said, well, it seems like they're only contacting people that I gave them names to. I said, do you remember anybody else? He goes, yeah, Papa, but I don't have their numbers. So I really don't know how they're doing a contact tracing, because this thing sounds pretty complicated. Especially, I'm not going to reveal how my granddaughter works, but she does work around a very, and I hope they make contact with individuals. But she does work for a company, and this girl that tested positive, she has a company she works for, and I'm sure they're calling them to make sure, not to put anybody in a panic, but just as a safety precaution, because I think everybody needs to be responsible. And I told them, I don't care what you guys do, park your butts at the house, you don't leave there, okay? Because you're in a situation now, you get caught outside of there, you can get arrested. Papa cannot do anything. Stay home because you're under quarantine right now. So that's how it's been going, my brother.
Well,
okay.
No, people freaking out. You see, I saw the comment that my taste in headwear is bad. So, but you notice my hats, yeah? I get Kauai. I get Hawaii. I get the Raiders. This is Lihui Raiders from Kauai. HPU, Hawaii Pacific University. And of course, I get the world famous sombrero for when I referee flag football and when I. So I guess my point is that my heart is here in Hawaii. I got to say, Charlie, we're blessed to have you. It's unfortunate what you have been going through, from your brother to your granddaughter and your great grandkids. But you know what? That brings it home. That makes it real. Or as Linda Coit would say, the shit is real. When you know, when it's not just a number on the TV screen, when it's not just a report saying, you know, it's like when, remember when the Desert Storm came out, and a lot of our military guys went up, and you know, it got to where the military deaths every day was just all of a sudden it didn't. I mean, yeah, you felt it, but it was, you kind of expected it. Oh, four soldiers died today, or you know, two jets got shot down, and you know, two pilots were killed, and then it just became normal. And that's kind of like what happened with COVID. You know, it's like you see the numbers in New York. It's really hard to fathom how many people are dying from this thing. And then, you know, you have these people talk about the flu, blah, 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 blah. You know, that's not the discussion right now. We're not in a flu pandemic. We're in a COVID-19 pandemic. But then when you're talking face to face with someone who has gone through it, like you, Charlie, and your family, all of a sudden it becomes real. And you know, I know, because I spoke to you yesterday. I spoke to you before the show. I spoke to you
After.
when you didn't know uh, about what the test results were going to come out, and then I, you know, of course we spoke after, and then just a relief. I remember telling you last night, wow, man, now you can sleep tonight, because
Yeah.
how you go sleep when you know your loved one got tested and you're waiting for the results, and you don't know, you know, human nature, you think the worst, you start thinking all the bad things that can happen. Oh my God, what if she's positive? And so my point is until you experience that, it's hard, man. The TV reports, yes, it's graphic, it's climbing numbers, second wave, third wave, whatever the case may be. It's just numbers unless you can put a face to the number. And you know, right now, Charlie, you, as far as this show is concerned, you are that face, because you have, you know, not once but twice. And you know, people don't have to die.
Here's the spooky thing about it. When I called this morning just wanting to know how the person who tested positive now, this person is relatively young, in their 20s. And I made a comment that, you know, if she's going to have a hard time, if I were you, call 911. Because one of the things was, you know, everybody's isolated. Yeah, everybody's isolated, hunkered down, right? I mean, even if they have to come out of the restroom, somebody has to shift, because they can't come in contact, right? Because my granddaughter, great grandson, they're negative. This person is at their own room. That person right now is struggling to breathe, and she's young. And it's not like, but you know, I don't know if she hard-headed, she just don't like go back. But you know, the thing is, if it gets more serious than what it is right now, I told my granddaughter, you have to call 911, and no care what, get her Okole in the ambulance and back. Because if this thing does overtake her and the fluids start building up, she ain't gonna have a prayer. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm just being real about it. So even though that person is not my blood, because my family is there, I take it as if this person is my blood, and I'm worried too. Because the person is young. I always thought, hey, the young people, no need worry. They can brush this thing off like dandruff, you know what I mean? But it ain't happening. This is going over 10 days already. And she get these symptoms. And it's very, very scary. Very scary. Now, I like to share also, you know, last night at 11:30 Hawaii time, which is about, 5 in the morning, New York time, a good brother of mine, he and I worked at the medical examiner's office together. Brother Kimo Cullen, on the 22nd of May, was deployed. He and I used to belong to this disaster response team called DMORT, like mortician, DMORT. He was tasked to go up and work in one of the medical examiners for the 5 boroughs. He's stationed in Brooklyn right now. And he told me, brother, if I had to share you, I says, how's what you guys doing now? He says, oh, we just getting information. We still compiling information from 3 months ago, so can get death certificates all entered. I go, you kidding me? He goes, man, it is bad up here. This is one Hawaii guy telling me what's going on. And I felt so bad for him. I said, hey, what about all those bodies that's unclaimed? He said, well, you saw the news. There's this place out and they dug graves and they're just putting them in mass graves and burying them because nobody claiming the bodies. I mean, that's real, Mel. That is real. Can't get away from that. And I said, and you seen that? He goes, yep. So he goes in 6:30 every morning and he doesn't get off till 9, 10 o'clock at night. They still have about 3,500 more bodies to be processed.
And, you know, the news don't talk to those people. You know, the news don't talk
Yeah.
to your friends. I mean, you know, again,
Yep.
that's the frustrating thing. I mean, you know, you cannot blame the people for being complacent because everywhere you turn, people are telling you that it's relatively safe, and yet it may be safe right now here where we're at, but it's not in many places. In fact, I was watching the news tonight. I was telling Patsy, they was showing the map with all the red states, red in a sense these states, and I should have took notes, but in a few of these states, the numbers are quadrupling every day.
Yeah.
Because the second wave is worse than the first wave. So yeah, it's horrible. It's horrible, and it's not fear mongering. Sorry, it's not fear mongering. It's the truth. And if you don't like listening to the truth, then go to another station. Or start your own Facebook Live. I mean, you can, you know, like minds think alike. But
Well,
bottom
the
line is
Hawaii,
this is
the Hawaii
factual. This
people,
is real.
you know, the Hawaii people that went over there to help, they're required.
Mhm.
They took a test before they went, and per the Department of Health, prior to coming back, they got to take one COVID test up there. So they got to take a test 3 to 4 days prior to get tested negative before they get on the plane. And when they come back into Hawaii, they got to get it tested one more time. So there's this redundancy, right? Just to double check because they're in a hot zone. They're in a hot zone.
I know somebody asked about bringing a survivor on the show, and Charlie is working on that. You know, unfortunately, we are on their schedule. You know, we cannot, we don't want to bring him on when he's not ready to come on physically, because, you know, although he's off the ventilator, you know, you take the ventilator out, there's still some healing that has to be done. Your lungs takes a lot of damage, you know, a lot of trouble, and it takes a while, and you know, as soon as he's ready, we are going to have him and his wife on the show, and it's going to that one's going to be, I think, may open up some people's eyes. There was also another question about a quarantine. If you have someone coming in your island and quarantining at your house, does everyone have to quarantine? The answer is no. I mean, the way the rule is, that visitor or that person that's coming in has to quarantine, but the the other members of the household doesn't. Now, explain that one. I don't know.
Hey, you want to know what the spooky thing is, though? Because everybody knows when the National Guard or the police go to your house, because they check in on you because you're under quarantine. So can't you just imagine, you get one friend, they're going to come over, quarantine, you're in a nice, quiet neighborhood, and then all of a sudden, the National Guard appear at your front door, check in on you. Yeah. Then your neighbors, okay, that's the LA Patrol going to come out. They're going to say, hey, Charlie, how come the National Guard was over there? Well, they came over, they're selling Girl Scout cookies. I'm going to buy Girl Scout cookies. What you going to tell them?
You know, but to me, that just defeats the purpose. I mean, your granddaughter, your granddaughter's roommate. I mean, it was, you know, they live in the same place, and you know, she got tested positive. So, you know, you have a person come and visit and decides to stay with you. Obviously, they're not in isolation now. There's a difference. They're in quarantine, meaning they gotta stay in a house. But they're not isolated. So whoever's in that household, if this person should be carrying the virus, will get infected.
Asymptomatic,
so, yeah. So I mean, it's you know, I understand that we want to make things easy, but you know, when you look at the necessity or the need to go to take these kinds of drastic actions like quarantining and isolation. What I don't get it. So in house A, you have a visitor come in and stay with you, and they quarantine, but you don't have to. So your visitor A contaminates resident A, and resident A goes to work and contaminates the people that they work with. This is how clusters happen. This is what happened in Maui Memorial and at McDonald's, or what's that other restaurant on a big island, Merriman's. That's how these things happen. It's terrible. But so it's kind of hard to explain to people, because I get this question a lot throughout the day. Hey Mel, my cousin coming from Honolulu, she's gonna quarantine at my house. Do we have to quarantine as well? No, you don't. In fact, I thought you did initially, and then when I verified with the state Department of Health, they said no, you don't. So it really makes no sense. It defeats the purpose of the quarantine for that person. Now, if that person is positive, that's an entirely different story. The
And you
problem
get
we're seeing,
exposed.
though,
Yeah.
yeah, once you get exposed to someone that is positive, but Charlie, you again, your family experienced that last night or yesterday, where they were exposed, but they weren't given a test initially.
Yeah.
Initially,
Yeah.
so I know someone posted earlier about why can't we be consistent? Why can't we be consistent across the state? And I think that's one of the frustrations that people have is things change every day, and what's happening on Oahu may not be happening on Kauai. What's happening on the Big Island may not be happening what's on Maui. So why can't we have a consistent system statewide? Statewide, you got to wear a mask when you're outside. Statewide, there's all these regulations, but not so with testing from facility to facility. And again, how are we gonna eventually crack this nut if we not being consistent? That's the part that troubles me. It really does.
I think, in all honesty, I can see the frustration just mounting every day, wanting to open up more and more. But I'm gonna go out on a limb, and I know I'm gonna get crucified for saying this, and I'm not gonna swear. But it's really at the point where the health department, I feel, they specialize in this virus. They just don't specialize in the mechanism of what it takes to contain this darn thing. Because, if you're a doctor, you're given a vaccine, you know how to do the injections, whatever, right? You can diagnose the person. But what about the healing process? Like you said, like even with this individual that's healing from being 7 weeks in the ICU, he's got to heal. When he goes home, there's got to be a process that he got to heal. He's still on oxygen. He's using the nasal cannula because his lungs is still weak, but he's making progress. And the family said they'll let us know when he's ready, when he can talk, because he doesn't want to have any of that on when he comes before all of you. But that's the kind of stuff that I don't think from county to county in this state, they teach that kind of stuff. So I think, with the health department, I would think that they would have a playbook, okay? With the exception of geographical boundaries. COVID is COVID. You know what I mean? COVID is not, one is big like one baseball, the next one is small like one golf ball. COVID is COVID, plain and simple. So there should be a playbook that everybody works off of. But it sure as hell doesn't sound that way. I mean, and I'm speaking firsthand now, because I asked all the questions and I got all the answers. And yeah, my granddaughter was a little bit afraid because, she doesn't know what to expect. She's worried about her son, my great-grandson, and she doesn't want nothing to happen to him. And I agree with her, but nevertheless, things need to be done where you put the patient in this perspective and just say, this is what's going to take place. We got to watch you carefully, because if symptoms should arise, we got to be able to cut it off as soon as possible. And you got to tell the person that. You cannot just be nonchalant about it and think that, hey, I'm going to tell you something, you're going to understand what I say, right? Doesn't happen that way. Doesn't happen that way.
You know, the majority of the discussion in the last week or two was about opening. And, I think we all want to see that happen. And what baffles me, and while the Senate has been trying hard to get the administration to take some action, it hasn't been done. And this whole talk about the pre-flight testing, that once we get everybody tested before they come, number one, honestly, how long you think it's going to take to get that in place? Are you talking about, how many airports we're talking about that come to Honolulu? Once we open up international flights, now, I mean, who's going to coordinate all of this? And they're saying, oh, it should be TSA, it should be the states. That's gonna. But again, it sounds nice, So you come out and you make that statement. Yeah, we got the clearance from the FAA. Okay, great. Now what though? How can you not lock that down first? You see, Charlie's been saying for a while that the state has been scrubbed, and he's right. And if we could assure the safety of our inner island people, we can travel freely. We don't need masks. We could do what we wanted to. So I guess for me, why are we not focusing on all the discussions that are happening about opening up? Why aren't we having those discussions to formalize and strategize the logistics of doing this pre-testing system? Now, all of these fancy stuff they're talking about, all of these bells and whistles, body temporal scans and facial recognition of what? Of what? What's a facial recognition going to tell you if you got COVID or not? Right now, you get all these snake oil salesmen coming to the States trying to sell their crap. At the end of the day, we need to know that the person getting on that plane is virus free. A temporal scan doesn't do that. A body facial recognition garbage ain't going to do that, right? A test that you have the antibody does it. The fact that you have a card that says you were negative 72 hours ago doesn't assure that you're not a carrier. I mean, but there is no discussion about getting that program together and implemented so that everyone is on the same page. That's what gets me. So we talk about all these other things that we're going to open up. You see what? This is my biggest fear, and this has been my biggest fear for a long time, because once we open up, it's a given that we're going to get spikes. I mean, it is, and the administration recognizes that, and we've heard the lieutenant governor say that they are prepared for that. That in fact we can surge our resources in the event we get an abundance of cases. But we all know that that is a finite number. It's limited. And we saw how clusters work, that the numbers exponentially grow. So so we get a 2 or 3 or 4 cases, we can handle. But what happens when we get the spike? What happens when we get the 21, 25, 30 cases? Can we surge then? Remember, I think the lieutenant governor said we're probably at 50% capacity of ICU beds. Because you see, not only COVID people use ICU beds, not only COVID people use ventilators, and you don't want to get to that point. So this is the fear. We open up, and we are. I mean, the only thing that's not open right now is bars. If you think about it, that's the only thing that's left, right? If I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think everything else is open.
Mm-hmm.
Are they opening up the sporting? I mean, there's some technical stuff for the sporting groups on the field, but I'm talking about your daily activities. Everything is open. So, but we haven't formalized that testing process. In fact, that far, I believe we're far away from that. So people are going to come, and the quarantine. The numbers of violators we have today will not go down with more visitors. It's going to increase. And then you're opening up. So we cannot assume that every visitor that comes in is going to quarantine for 14 days. No, they're gonna sneak out. They're gonna go to restaurants. They're gonna do all of that, and just increase the chances for our residents to catch this virus. So that's just baffling to me that we cannot focus. The cause and effect. You don't want to put the cart before the horse, which is simply what we're doing.
Hmm.
And yeah, maybe it's extreme, but it is real, and we've seen it. And Vegas is going to open up on June 4th. I already got my email from the California hotel. Welcome back, Mel. I'm not a high roller, but I can tell you that I went on just to see how much the price of the rooms were. It's $18 a night at the California hotel. I'm sure it's the same at the Fremont or at Main Street. We are going to get a ton of local people going to Vegas. I posted that on my page today. How many of you going to go to Vegas in June or July? Vast majority said no, but there were very few. There were some that said yes, absolutely, definitely. Now, going to Vegas at this time and then coming home, yes, you still got a quarantine, but you still, I think it's a dangerous trip to take right now. But to each his own. This is America. But
Well, we have a Hawaii boy. I just said we have a Hawaii boy, a good friend of mine. In fact, when he called me just a couple of days ago again, he wanted to let me know. He says, yeah, we're preparing to open up. He's at one of the newer hotels. He's a supervisor. He's a retired federal air marshal, resides in Las Vegas from the big island of Hawaii. His wife is an ICU nurse. And he just wanted to tell me that. He says, Charlie, we're going to open up, but I'm going to tell you this as a friend. Don't come up right now. I says, well, they're not hyping it too much up there. What's happening? He says, well, all I can tell you is the nursing staff and doctors are overwhelmed. I go, uh-oh. He says, I cannot say much more, but I'm going to tell you that right now. And if they don't believe, and if they're not careful, the bad thing about it, those who really need the help might not have room to go to the hospital, because it's tapped out already. So I said, well, how does things look? He says, well, we're going to have maybe 3/4 of the manpower working. But for all hotel staff, everyone, they have to get scanned every day going in and scanned going out. Some hotels have actually invested, and that body temporal scan that they're talking about at the airport. Some hotels have already installed it at all the entryways into the hotels. So they've already installed it. So they're taking this thing seriously. But at the same token, they were one of the hot spots, right? They were one of the hot spots. And I know some travelers from there that came back to Hawaii, brought it back. They did a deposit. Maybe they lost up there, but they deposit from COVID over here. They came back. So, I don't know what's going to happen, brother. I don't know what's going to happen.
Well, we know that several of our cases, many of our cases in Hawaii came from Vegas. Residents that came back from Vegas. We know that Kauai, we had our own on Kauai that was from Vegas. I saw on the news that the non-gaming hotels. This is how I know that they know what's coming. My prediction is 3 weeks shut down again, Vegas. That's just my totally non-medical, non-scientific, just knowing that how this thing will spread. But anyway, the non-gaming hotels in Las Vegas, meaning the hotels that don't have casinos, are setting up. This is what's kind of nasty. They're setting up for the sick people. In other words, the hotels, the gaming hotels, the casinos are not gonna. If you test positive, you go to the non-gaming hotel to stay. That's where you're gonna be isolated. Which is so bizarre, Charlie, because we've been saying that's what we need here.
Yeah.
And we get all these legal opinions that you cannot. Well, in Vegas, that's what they're gonna do. I was on the news this morning. The non-gaming hotels are setting up to house the sick visitors in Vegas.
They're setting it up as a COVID hotel.
Correct. Why? Yeah. Because they know it's coming. They know it's coming. And while they're taking some precautions in the casino itself, like plexiglass and whatever the hell they're gonna do, you know, when you cannot stop people from being people, and you cannot stop people from bumping into people, and you watch what happens. I'm telling you, and then it shuts down. But by the time that happens, what, a million people, 2 million people will have left Vegas into their own communities to spread the aloha, you know. And that's the thing, you know, these things that other states do, and then they entice visitors from all over the world. Remember, Vegas is not just the ninth island of Hawaii. Vegas is the playground for all over the world. I mean, you notice you go to Vegas and you sit at a blackjack table. I mean, there's people from all over the world, and they all been waiting for this day that Vegas will open. So what
Well,
stays
you
in
know,
what stays in Vegas stays in Vegas. It's except COVID, man. That's the one thing that
you know
that
what?
doesn't stay.
One thing that they are contemplating is the individual who called me and at the hotel he works at, the slots. I think he said that every other machine was closed, will be
Mhm.
blackened. Okay, the tables they have a limit. So on poker tables, I think they only limit three, something like that, three or and then the dice they're only limiting so many people on the table. But here's the thing: what Vegas normally attracts people to the buffets, right? They're not opening up the buffets yet
Right. And why you think, Charlie? Why you think? Because
because
buffet lose
yeah,
money, the gambling makes money. I mean, really,
yeah,
what is this all about? You know, that if that doesn't tell you, and you know, when they were doing the thing, the special the other day on TV, they had the consultant or their reporter or whatever. He was at the card table. Even though they're limiting the seats to 4 seats, I guess it was either three or four, but it was 4 seats. There's no 6 feet in between. And you know what the guy said? He said it's close enough. Like, wow, man, are you guys that serious? You know, it's not gonna be enough space at the casino that they were at anyway. Uh, they want Vegas needs to open, or you know, some of these guys are gonna go bankrupt, and they're putting that in front of the health and safety. You know, I had a question about the garage sales. You know, what about people doing garage sales? You know, listen, regardless of the activity, you got to practice the safe rules. You know, if you go to a garage sale, you got to be careful. You know, you can't. You got the social distancing is so key, and making sure that you're not touching things. And if you touch anything, you make sure you disinfect your hands before you leave, or whatever the case may be. We gotta. I've said this for the last several nights that the complacency is so obvious now, so obvious that people gonna be scared when this stuff starts to unfold. The masks, they're not. Some of those casinos won't be wearing masks. They're not gonna require their guests to wear masks. So we'll see. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but
well, today I was kind of on bobo. That's another word for doodle boy. I went to Big Safe by Mia, and I forgot all about I had my mask on. I was walking. People say, "Hi, Uncle Charlie. We'll see you tonight." I go, "Hey, right on." And I forget about the person in front of me with a little girl, and I get too close. You know, they get the foot on the ground, right, to space you. And I just kept walking because I just completely forgot. And this cute little girl turned around and said, "Uncle, she pointed me for like, get back." And I go, "You're right, sweetheart." I mean, you're an innocent little girl reminding me, and she was right, I was wrong. So, it's stuff like that. We got to just keep on re-emphasizing, telling ourselves, hey, they put down all these precautions. It's for a reason. Don't disrespect. And I was guilty of it because I was just so happy that I was recognizing everybody in the store. I never pay attention. And really, what I did is I invaded the little girl's space, and she corrected me. she corrected me. So, I applaud her for that. She did the right thing.
Well, the kids are learning so much about being clean,
Yep.
sanitizing. I think we hope that all what we're doing now going to really cut down on the cases of flu and all these other diseases that can be transmitted, at school with kids. But this is going to be the normal thing. I mean, how many of you now jump in your car if you come in your car from outside and the first thing you do is grab your sanitizer? Yeah, I mean, I do it now. In fact, I just put a new one in my car because the one was getting low. I didn't even run out, and I made sure I had my second bottle in there because it's just becoming the norm. And it's not a bad thing. These sanitizers actually smell pretty good.
I don't know. I went to one place. They had a homemade sanitizer. I swear, the thing would look like it had papaya and apple juice mixed together. The bug was kind of thick. So I put them on my hands. I just wipe them and I said, "Hey, this no more that that alcohol smell, right?"
Yeah.
I said, "Oh man, my hands smell like papaya." I go, "Whoo!" So I told her later, "Go, Mama, what is this? Apple juice inside here?" She goes, "Secret." When she said secret, I know never have any kind of alcohol. Never have alcohol in there at all. I said, okay. Now the true test is when I left the store to see how much flies will get attracted to my hands. And I know there's papayas.
Well, I know I got some from the Veteran Center. I had to go to the Veteran Center by Kukui Grove. And so I got a couple bottles they gave. And it's like almost like perfume, like a woman's perfume. Oh, is it Victoria's Secret? No, it's not Victoria's Secret. That thing is military grade, girl. Check Trump to me.
Oh, it's Victor's Secret. It's not Victoria, it's Victor.
Easy, go easy, girl. It says, "Hello, I am a unicorn. Pocket back berry lemonade, antibacterial hand gel." This is not Victoria's Secret.
I said it's not Victoria. It's Victor's Secret, not Victoria.
No, mine says hello.
No, up here on the top.
Oh, I see. Okay. Oh, sorry, Bath and Body. But you know what? I'm going to do it right here live.
Oh, it smells. You can eat it.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh shit.
Brother,
Oh.
I just show you the best sanitizer. Yeah. The best sanitizer right here. You see this dry aqua? That's the best sanitizer you can get. If you keep COVID away, bust out the dry aqua. Because only the COVID-free person gonna come up to you and ask you for some. There you go.
So the protesters were out in Kapa'a today.
Oh.
Kapa'a. They went across of by McDonald's, by McDonald's out on the highway. They were yelling with the guy with the megaphone that was yelling at the people at the drive-through in Kapa'a. And this is what I don't understand. They're out there, no more mask, no more social distancing. Everything is opening up, and they're still protesting. I don't understand. Yep. What are they protesting? You're not getting cited or arrested. You're not wearing your mask. You're not exercising, and you protesting, which is fine, and you're not getting arrested. So why are you protesting? You're doing what you want to do. Everything is open. Unreal. Again, to the people, and they either go Rice Street, Bala County Building, or Kapa'a Town, where all the law-abiding residents are passing and seeing this happen, and yet they're trying their best to protect everyone. You see, because the greater good is what everybody's trying to strive for. I don't enjoy this lockdowns. I don't enjoy all of these things, but I know that in the long run, if everyone does this, and Kauai is proof. We've done really well
Mhm.
because a lot of people follow the rules and the regulations that were in place. So I don't get it. I don't get it why these guys are out there. And I know I'm talking about it tonight, but we shouldn't be talking about it. We shouldn't be giving them any exposure, you know. But I just felt compelled to share that they were in Kapa today. Tomorrow they'll probably be in Lihui on their normal Friday
You
deal.
know, I'm just wondering, like the other islands, because being from Oahu, I have families there, and they told me that there haven't been any protesting in front of Mayor Wright Housing. There's no protesting at Camford Housing. There's no protesting in Kohio Park Terrace. There's no protesting down Waianae. But how come only over here get protests? How come only Kauai get?
I, because they tried it once in Honolulu and some guys got arrested.
Well, I really would like to see one protest by on Vineyard Street by Mayor Wright Housing.
or
I'd like to see how well that goes.
or go protest in one of the cities that the numbers are quadrupling.
Yeah.
Go walk around there, and
Yep.
no, they weren't protesting about George Floyd. They were the same protesters that are protesting about they want to open up everything. I know there's a lot of talk, and I saw a comment about the hotel workers. The hotel workers do want to go home, and we have a few hotel workers. In fact, if there are any hotel workers, I don't like mention names, but people like Tyson, Moises, that want to come on, I mean, I'm serious because I want to hear from them. The hotel unions now are basically fighting for the safety of their employees, saying, if you're going to open them up, then you better make sure that you guys are protecting your employees. If we open this up, when it opens, it's not if, but when. We want to make sure that your employers, your hotels, are taking care of your employees and making sure that they have all the proper equipment, that all of the practices are being done. So, yeah, Tyson and Rhonda, that's right, two hotel people. Maybe Patsy, text.
I don't know if they can go together.
No, they can go together. We get room for two on top of this screen.
Yeah, but
Yeah, put Tyson on right now. Tyson. Yes, I do want to go back to work. And yes, we want to make sure that it's safe for all employees as well as guests. See, that's why Tyson, I'm going to send you the link. I'll let you come on because I'm curious from a hotel worker. See, I worked hotel, but I was night audit. Never had human beings around at night. It was just me, my computer, calculator, and the boogeyman. That's all I had. So hang on. Tyson Moises. Charlie, fill the gap while I
Well, not to change the subject, but we're gonna get Tyson and on. But I know some today. I was watching the social media about that untimely, that sad situation that happened in Minneapolis, and someone had made a comment that they're tired of seeing the news, and I agree. It's nobody likes bad news. And it pertained to myself and what I had posted about, what my read was on it. And I just made the comment that, as a former police officer, one thing we go through training as a recruit, and even after that, and your annual recall training, you got to remember one thing, and that is once a person is handcuffed, the person, you take away most of that threat from them. Okay. Yeah, you gotta watch out for it if they kick you or anything like that. But if they're on the ground like that, you don't have to sit on them because they're gonna get on difficult time trying to stand up on their own. Okay. So I was trying to explain this to a person today, and what the person didn't know, and I didn't expect you to know. But yes, I used to be a death investigator with the city and county of Honolulu, and I had investigated deaths like that before. And I know what some of the signs are. That's why I told everybody, if you look at the video really good, you're going to see this puddle of liquid coming down from that gentleman. That's what happens when you asphyxiate someone and they start to relieve themselves. They're gonna urinate. That was one of the telltale signs I saw in that video, and it's very shocking. And they asked me my opinion. What do you think? I said, hey, Department of Justice should look into this. You talk about civil rights violation. There it is right there, especially when a person is handcuffed. You do not have the right to choke a person out. And even when they teach you the carotid control, you stay clear from the airway. The carotid control cuts off the carotid arteries. It doesn't cut off the windpipe. And then, then a mayor says, well, if he can say I cannot breathe, then he can, if he can talk, that means he's breathing. Well, I know a lot of drowning victims that yell for help. They're breathing at that time, and then they die because they drown. Same analogy. So
Yeah,
it was one of those things.
I feel for all the good officers
Yeah.
around the country. All the ones that the vast majority are good. And incidents like this will make it hard for all the rest, and that's
Yeah.
that's really the sad thing in all of this. Those guys need to be punished. I mean, they definitely need to be punished. There's Tyson. Yeah.
What is up, brothers?
I like the shirt, man. I like the shirt. You see, I got the other one.
Well, I was gonna put the Doodoo Boy shirt on, but I figured I'll go with the old school one for you.
Yeah, well, it looks really good on you, bro. It looks really good on you.
Well, let's introduce
So,
who he is there.
Yeah. Well, I think everybody knows Tyson because he's a frequent flyer. He's been on, I think, every show. I think he missed the one. He missed the one with Rhonda, I think.
I missed the one with Rhonda, which is probably a good thing because the comments that I would have been putting probably would have shut me down.
Yeah. So
But,
we're gonna bring both of you on, but then I thought, you know what, we're gonna save Rhonda for another time, only because we want to really hear from you. So I know you were watching the watch party today, the governor's discussion with the 4 mayors. Let's just start there. What was your thought? What did you get out of that?
Disappointment. And the disappointment is like your comment about pulling the cart before the horse, right? So, our awesome governor who's been late to every party for the last 2 months decides to say, hey, you know what, we're going to extend this quarantine beyond June 30th, right? My whole thing is, hey, there's talks about, opening up inter-island travel freely, no quarantines and all that. I personally think, hey, before we make any decisions about domestic travels coming in, let's see how it goes inter-island. Go inter-island freely. We see if we can control any spikes in cases. My thing is, you want to do testing for people coming in, do it at inter-island terminals and whatnot. Do you want to travel to a different island? Go take a test. Hey, if you don't like it, don't travel. That's my theory, right? I think I've posted this a bunch of times. After 9/11, they changed things at the airport. COVID-19, they're going to change more things at the airport.
Well, you bring up a really good point because that's exactly what they're saying. We're going to test it with the inter-island. We're going to test it and making sure that, and if there's any tests or any positive or any sick people, will respond right away and blah, blah, blah. But this is unique because I never really thought about it. If in fact the goal is to pre-test everybody, you just started something in my head. See if you can handle state first.
Yeah.
See if you can make it happen between our islands first. Yeah, you want this to happen in LA, San Francisco, Chicago, New York has a direct flight, Seattle, Portland, Arizona, Phoenix, Las Vegas. You want us to do all of that. You're saying this is what we're gonna do, this is what we're gonna do. Let's prove it and see if you can do it inter-island. That's actually pretty brilliant.
It's like how we've all been saying, right? Do things at a small scale. Right now, we can barely control the few hundred people coming in, right? Contact them, see if they're going to the lodging area. So if you think it's difficult now with 200-300 people, now when we start getting 5, 6, 7, 10,000, 20,000, it's going to be difficult. So if you want to try and test, do it at an airport like Lihui, right? We don't have 20,000 people leaving every day. So try and do it internally in our state. Then we can open up. That's why I said in my post was, I'm more disappointed because you're making a decision without testing the waters yet. You know what I mean? So I think, I don't know where it was. It could have been during a watch party. Somebody asked me that question. I said, hey, if you're to make this decision June 20th because you saw inter-island travel, okay, we had some spikes, we couldn't control them. I'm all fine, right? But making it right now when he was kind of, Derek's been proactive, and our governor hasn't been very proactive. It's just me.
Well, the only variable, and I agree what you're saying. The only variable that's missing, and I would like to see that testing inner island, is I think what everybody's watching for, where the boogeyman is hiding, right? Because the boogeyman is hiding somewhere. If after a few months we test inner island, nothing happens, that means that we know with almost some degree of certainty the boogeyman ain't hiding in the Hawaiian Islands. So now you got to look at the boogeyman coming from outside of Hawaii. And then I don't know if the state will be able to do a cookie cutter process, try on a small scale and then ramp it up into a larger scale. I believe they're sophisticated enough, but I don't think somebody has the will to pull that trigger to make it happen. That's that unknown variable right there.
Well, you'd hope that our elected leaders, appointed leaders, hired leaders would have some of those balls to make those decisive decisions, right? Not just, oh, maybe I think I can do this. Dude, just sack it up and make a decision. All right? That's all we got to do.
Sack it up, man. Yeah, grow a pair, But no, seriously, and we'll have Lieutenant Governor Josh Green on next week, Tuesday. So I'm glad we're going to have that discussion, because really, if you believe that you can make this work with the mainland passengers, then you should have absolutely no problem making it work inter-island, because we control the inter-island airports. We don't control LA and San Francisco, but we control every single state airport. The state does. So for the state to implement pre-flight testing locally should be no problem, right? So
Could
if
be
we
done.
can get that done, it's if like Charlie just said, who has the political will to do it, right? And do it and
No, this is the way to do it, Mel. This is the way to do it. Mandate all airlines gotta fly into Oahu. None of the airlines can go straight to the Big Island, Kauai, or Maui. They all gotta go to Oahu. From Oahu, hub out. Then you can test everybody that way. You eliminate that. You eliminate the travel from the mainland, and everything will be inter-island at that point.
Oh. Steve is asking who's going to fund it. Who's going to fund the mainland one? I guess that's my point, Steve. It's very easy to punt. It's very easy to come on the air and tell the world that the FAA said we can. But who's going to fund LA and San Francisco and Phoenix and Seattle? That's my point. If we cannot do it ourselves, if we as a state cannot do it ourselves, how in the hell can we expect another jurisdiction, which we have absolutely no control over, to do it? That's exactly my point. But you see, for us on Kauai, we don't have that control at Honolulu Airport. We don't have that control. But we do have control once they hit Kauai and they leave the airport property and they pull out that checkpoint. I'm assuming that the mayor has that authority to ask for a card. And if you don't have that card, you go to quarantine. But I like that idea, and I will definitely raise it with the lieutenant governor that, let's do a trial run, a real trial run, though.
Well, Mel, a lot of things is get back to the basic, and that is we got to learn to funnel, because if you don't funnel things down that corridor that you want that desired effect, all hell gonna break loose outside of that. And I think that's what Tyson is saying as well, is that when you start it small, you're funneling it through that corridor and see if it's manageable. Because if it's not manageable, why are we even wasting time about go do it on mainland? If you're gonna do it, just, I don't want to say the bad word, but what other options are there? Just short of just opening it up and just hope everybody can outrun this thing, right? Because that's what's happening now. You hoping that you don't bump into somebody and get one achu on top you on crack. That's what you're hoping for.
Well, the way I look at it is, what the airlines charge now, and I'm not talking if you're a mileage club member or whatever, but what is the charge now for your first bag? Isn't it like 30? What is it? What we paid? $30, $35 the first bag?
30,
30 bucks.
30.
So if now you think that $30 is stopping any traveler from coming to Hawaii?
Heck
Of course
no.
not. $30, and that's when they were paying $600 and $700 round trip. So if you like come Hawaii and you want to come in and no quarantine, then guess what, pal? You know, on top of your $199 round trip that you're getting for a deal, you add the $40 or the $50 or the $60 for pay for your tests. That's how you fund it. Because you know, Hawaii is a destination. It's not like going to some crap hole place in the mainland. This is a destination, and they're getting a huge break on even the hotels. I mean, the rates are going to be down when they first open. You know, they want to fill those rooms, and obviously we know about the airfares. You know, $400 round trip, $500 round trip from New York to Lihue. Yes, via Honolulu, but still, my point is that if you like come, then you pay that extra for the test. That's how you fund it. And if you don't like come, you don't like pay that, then whatever, stay in New York or stay in LA or wherever, you know. So
Hey,
anyway,
Tyson, what
Yeah.
what hotel are you at, Tyson?
Oh, I'm at the Grand Hyatt Kauai.
So
So
what about having to adopt to new safety protocols that probably the hotel going to adopt, right? I'm pretty sure all the hotels going to have to.
yeah, no, they are like, front desk are ready for us. They already got all the sneeze guards up there. You know what I mean? Trying to go
Yeah.
into it. Like me and Rhonda told our members and all that. We said, remember, there's the new norm. Like, I just anticipate we're using masks for the time being. And I work valet, so I'm going to be outside, right? So
front
on a
line,
normal,
yeah, front line, yeah.
in a normal day, I interact with, 200-300 guests. And then you add on locals coming in and out and workers, it's pretty, normally 300 to 500 people. So I said this at the beginning of the pandemic. The fact that if anybody thought they were walking around our property and nobody had the virus in January and February, they're all effing nuts. You know what I mean? I told a couple execs, I said, you guys got to be shitting me if you guys think we haven't had the virus around. They're like, oh, I said, I'm fairly certain we've had it. We get a lot of Asian visitors to the islands. We get everybody coming around. We got Seattle, New York, people coming from Europe. So for us to have believe that, this virus was never on the island prior to the pandemic, that's just kind of stupid. You know what I mean? So I've always said the fact that I don't get sick more often is amazing, just from the normal day protocols. But that's why the antibody test, like I told Rhonda, I said, I want to get the test because back in January, I was sick for 17 days. And it was just one of those weird ones. I rarely get sick. I kind of attributed that to, remember, we had all those rains from Christmas to New Year's. And then a couple of days after, from January 3rd to the 20th, sick. No matter how much medicine, boom, boom, go, take my days off, rest, go to work. And, it's, and it's tough, when people say, hey, you sick, stay home. That's what you want to do. But not everybody's sick call policies can allow you to just stay home any old time, right? Because you might have sick days and you can try and use them. But after a certain point, you may be getting reprimanded. Now, like I said, it was back all us locals, right? We all think, just a common cold, let me go. We're going to all think twice, maybe 3 times. Now, okay, crap, I got something. Should I be going and infecting others, or should I just stay home and deal with it, right? So I think if I was ever sick 17 days again, I'm not going to lie. If it got to that 18th day, which was after my days off, I wouldn't have gone in. But it was, everybody at work loved it because I lost my voice. So it was quiet for like a week and a half.
Well, it's kind of weird. When was it? January that I got sick? Yeah. When did Mickey come? So yeah, February, end of February, right before the, oh, that's right. Because my daughter went to back home. She was sick. She had the fever. She had the throat. She went to the doctor in Oregon. They never test her for flu. They never test her for COVID. We were already in the COVID stage, but I got sick, and it's like you, bro. I don't get sick, and I remember being sick and not being able to work. That's that like for me that just doesn't happen. But I was sick, so I would love to try to get that antibody test too because I agree with you. I believe that virus was here before everyone it became before it came the pandemic. I believe that, and I think a lot of us may have just been able to, maybe it wasn't, we didn't get that as bad, or maybe our immunity system was up, and
Hey,
but
wasn't there a question on the antibody test though recently about the false false positive readings or something like that? Mel?
well,
Yeah.
Senator Kochi said that he saw on CNN that it was about 50%, and then Dr. Miskovich came right back and said no, it's 98 point something percent.
Yeah, he said it's
Depend where
yes.
you buy the test. Depend where you buy the test.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming the test that Dr. Miskovich uses, he the proof is in the pudding. I think his numbers come from the test that he's run, and I know he's on. I saw him pop up.
Yeah.
So again, who do you believe? You believe CNN, who really, or do you believe Dr. Miskovich, who's in the field and has the trials and the studies and the data to support his claim? So I think for me, I trust the local doctor that is doing it here with the test that he has and the test that he uses versus CNN, who all they want is to create controversy. I mean, that's what they do. That's what all of those mainland network news channels do. So I would go with I would go with the doctor that's doing it here. I would.
Well, let's put out the disclaimer, Mel, because right now we don't cause controversy, right, Mel? We just give out the facts, right?
Trust me, I agree. You can believe CNN, or you can not Mel and Charlie, or you believe Dr. Miskovich, who's doing it right now on Oahu, on Maui, and on the Big Island, and on Molokai. So
Well, put it this way: just gotta make sure that the test kits don't come from Wuhan, China, because if it did, forget it. I'll go with the vanilla ice cream test from there. That thing works all the time for me.
Wow, almost we're done. We're in overtime, but Tyson, this is why I asked for you to come on. Was you're a hotel worker, your livelihood, it's your livelihood, and I see that the it's obvious, and I said this from day one, that from that first press conference that the governor made, and you can go back and look him on my YouTube channel. I said it. It was very clear that his loyalty was to the visitor industry. It's not a bad thing. Trust me, hey, that's a good thing for him. I just think the priority should have been health and safety. But having said that, it's obvious that the push is to get this economy rolling, which we have to do at some point. Now, that's what you do. The hotel unions now are pushing the hotels to make sure it's safe for the employees. So how do you feel right now? I don't know if the Hyatt is a union hotel or not. It really doesn't matter.
No, we're union. Majority of we only got one union. Ours, it's ILW, and it's pretty much every employee with the only exception of management and department here and specialized people. But comfortable wise, right now, I'm a lot more comfortable going back to work than I was, say, 3 weeks ago, right? Especially with how we're vetting people coming into the state, testing, all these kind of things. Before, it's just a crapshoot. People come in and they just go around, right? So
Right.
if they sure that stuff up, I'll have no concerns. To be honest, we're already germaphobes already at the front drive at the Grand Hyatt because we touching cars, people all the time. So things just like sanitizer and all that, we've always done that. So I guess we were COVID-19 ready about 10 years ago, right? But the comfort level, I'm fine. If you talk to people that work with me prior to this pandemic and all the shutdowns, my opinion to them was shut everything down. And they'll look at me like, you is freaking insane. I said, this is how we make our money. I go, and I told him, I said, who gives a shit? I said, what do you guys rather have? A short-term financial hit, and we control this, or we take our time, dilly-dally, and now we run into 9, 10, 11, 12 months of this. And what right now, for us, it's 2 months. It's going to be 3 in June with EGA's announcement of extending the quarantine. It's at least July. And what I've always told people is our hopes were have July 1st, have the quarantine there. And it wasn't so much for let's open up tourism. It was to get hotels and resorts back open. Because we all know that first day they open up, everybody's not going back to work. You know what I mean? Because you're lucky if a quarter of everybody gets called back. Hell, an eighth, right? So my thinking has always been, talking with all our members, was if July 1st was the date that we open up, the hope is August 1st, majority of us can get called back in. And that's why if you saw my post today, I said, basically the announcement today put 90% of hospitality workers unemployed until September 1st. And that's just the realization that when we open up all these resorts, Mauna Kea, I got lots of friends, Big Island, Kona, you open up August 1st, you're going to be what, 15, maybe 20%? Come September 1st, maybe a lot more of us come back in. And that's how I look at it. I don't look at it as, short term, what we're going to do right now. I want to know, okay, once we do go, it's going to be sustained that we can kind of get back to some type of normalcy, new normal. But we got to have, like you guys are mentioning, all the safety precautions in there, not just for the employees, with our guests, right? Because if our guests not walking around safe, the employees will never be safe around there. So, but comfortable wise right now at the Hyatt, from what I hear and the people I talk to, it's going to be a good place to be. We just got to be able to reopen.
And then again, it all comes down to doing the best job we can screening these guys coming in. I mean, that's the bottom line. How we do that, that's the question. The testing is one option, and yeah, I hope we can get a handle on it. I really do. But wow, awesome, man. Somebody just asked, who's their guest tonight?
Sorry.
They already answered though, but you're a very popular guy. I just got my notice from my hotel last week. Was it this week? That I was on casual status. They would call me only when they absolutely needed somebody to roll the night over at Timbers, and they just let all their casuals all go. I'm done, and I feel I'm still working at my regular job, so I'm doing okay. But my point is that they know it's going to be a while. It is going to be a while, and they got to free up budgets. They got to free up, for their owners and like every hotel. So I wish you well, man. I wish you well, and appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, thanks, brother. No problem. Sometimes you got to watch out when you give them putting you on open mic.
No, that was the hope, man. That was, inform and educate. And, Charlie and I can talk about the hotel worker's perspective, or we can have the hotel worker come on and give their perspective. And it's always much better when, and especially when that person is real and honest. And you've been that. So appreciate that, bro.
Yeah, no problem. I'm glad Charlie, if you come on.
You have your ukulele? Because, brother, you're going to be the first guest we're going to invite to join us in our song.
Yee, let's do it.
Charles, what some fine, and by the way, tonight on PBS right now, there's insights on tourism, opening tourism. So we'll get you guys out of here. You can catch the second half of that show, but.
Well, I'd like to tell Tyson, thank you for joining us tonight. His idea is good. It's a start. If somebody has the gall or the willpower or whatever you want to call it to pull that trigger and make it happen.
They just got to have bajangas, right? That's Portuguese slang for balls.
Well, I got Mrs. Iona right on the other side of this door, so I got to watch. And she get her phone in her hand, so, and then she's with the she's got her SWAT tactics all in place. I don't like her kick the door in, so But I just want to make sure that, everybody understand that, we got to do testing. And, a bright idea was hatched tonight, and that is start with the inter-island first. And if that is manageable and they can expand on that to meet the needs of the anticipated rush from the outside travel industry, then by all means, at least, we've got it pegged. But I want to thank you for that. And to Brother Mel, thank you. And to all of the viewers out there, thank you so much for continually watching us. And hopefully learned us something a little bit more tonight. And to my grand kikis that's watching Papa tonight, you know that I love you. Don't you worry, Papa's always here, and I'm going to keep track of you folks. Make sure you guys are okay.
Yeah, best
Thanks,
wishes
Charles.
to them. Take care.
Yeah, prayers out, man. Prayers out. But you know what? The other thing too is we got to be real careful when you start bringing up terms like, what did you call it?
What?
What is that?
Bajingos.
Bajingas or whatever it is, or
Yeah.
every time
Bajingos.
we bring up, yeah, every time we bring up a term like that, these guys want to do a new shirt.
No, they want to repeat it.
I know, grow up hair. They want a grow up hair shirt. Now they want the what is
Sack it up.
Bazinga? Sack it up.
Bajingos.
Sack it up. Sack it up. Remember that song from the Cars? So yeah, Tyson, we'd love to have you join us in this song. Don't forget tomorrow night, 7 o'clock.
All right, that's
Ready?
good. I got a voice like an angel. Although it's
Okay.
Yeah, so do
Lucifer.
I. So do I. Charlie wrote this song. You know that, right? So flat in the curve. Yeah. Tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. We love you guys. God bless. Take care. Thank you guys all. Thanks, Tyson. You guys take care.
All right, Hammers.
Ah.
Later.